Hi everyone, welcome to Kim's Cozy Corner. It is time for a weekly update on how the indoor garden's doing after being away for a week. Hi everybody, I'm back. I've been away for a week and it's time for me to show you how the indoor garden's doing and just how well it was taken care of while I was gone, and just now it's time for us to start doing some other things, but I can't do it until I show you where things are first. So let's start with the seedlings that I have on my table first. So this was the absolute last thing that I planted, and I planted it the day before I went out of town, which was 7 days ago. It was only 7 days ago, y'all. So there's broccoli, there are Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower. That's what's in here right now, y'all. And everything germinated. The Long Island Brussels sprouts are slowly coming in. I think I saw a couple in the back trying to come in. Everything else came in with the exception of my early Jersey. Early Jersey is right here. So I didn't get but one early Jersey seed, it looks like right there. But everything else came in. Now I don't have much in the from a true leaf standpoint. So these are the first leaves that come in, and then you got to get true leaves. And so back here, this Napa cabbage is trying to get some true leaves. The Bilko right here has true leaves coming up the center. So in about a week or less, I will be up potting these into other containers. Just before this one, we did this one. And these are all of my herbs. And usually your herbs take a long time to germinate. So let's see how we're doing. So this is my celery. This is the Utah celery. And the seeds are so tiny, y'all. But look, the Utah's coming up. That other one that I planted, nothing has come up yet. So those seeds are probably 4 or 5 years old. So they might not germinate. The Utah seeds are less than a year old and they are germinating very well. So let me just turn it around so you can see. Utah versus that other one. Utah doing really, really well. This, y'all, is all parsley, 2 different varieties of parsley. The seeds were a little older and nothing germinated, y'all. Not yet anyway. Moving on over. Thyme is just starting to germinate. And y'all, it could take 3 weeks to germinate. So I'm not really worried about that. Sage, I don't see anything yet. I'm not super worried about the sage yet either. Moving on across here, I have good germination on whatever this is. Let's see what it is. Oregano. Oregano's doing amazing. And then beside it here, I have nothing. And this is marjoram. Now, I don't necessarily need to be worried about marjoram. It might just take longer to germinate. It has only been, gotta be careful. It has only been a little over a week, so we will give that marjoram time to do what it needs to do. Moving over to the back here, the cilantro. This is all cilantro growing back here. And it's happy, the cilantro is. I never put anything in this cell because I was saving it for rosemary. And y'all, let me tell you what I did. See, what happened was I went to the seed site to buy rosemary. That was the intent of going to all of the different seed sites to get the things I knew I was out of. So I got everything that I was out of that I talked about in the videos, plus more, except for rosemary. Y'all, I didn't buy any rosemary seeds. I bought everything else but rosemary. I didn't get any. And at this point, y'all, we just won't be planting rosemary. If we do, we'll get a transplant or something like that. I can't believe that I bought seeds from 4 different seed companies and not one of them did I buy rosemary. What do the young folks say? SMH, shaking my head. Anyway, let's look at this last container. In the last container here, this is my lavender. and nothing has germinated yet, but I think we're okay because it could take up to 3 weeks to germinate if I remember correctly. So looking at all of these containers, not super concerned about anything not germinating with the exception of the older celery that I started. The only thing I'm a little concerned about is all of this algae growth that I have. Now the domes were on the whole time while I was gone, and I'm learning about domes, so I got to get used to it. But even with that algae on top, I don't think it's impeding the growth of any of my plants. So for the moment, I'm still on the dome and covering up your young seedlings before they germinate. So I'm still on that team. I moved over to that team and I'm still on that team for now. Let's get inside the indoor grow space and see how that's doing. So we'll just start down here. Y'all, when I just wanted to grow something, y'all, I remember I started a small 2-gallon pot of potatoes, and look, y'all, that potato has germinated. We'll see if we get anything out of that pot. And since we're talking about potatoes, we'll head over to this pot right here. Now, I thought I had overwatered these potatoes, so I told my mom not to water them at all for this past week. And so she didn't water. I watered them this morning, and y'all, it sucked up everything like it hadn't been watered forever. So maybe it's just going to be a heavy container. It's super, super heavy. And I gave it a good watering this morning, but it's looking pretty good. I got a few bad leaves on here, but for the most part, it's looking pretty good. I had saw blooms somewhere before I left, but potatoes are doing well. Now for the potatoes, I might not get a harvest indoors, or if I get a harvest, it's going to be very small off of the larger pot that I have potatoes in. Oh, wait a minute. Nah, I thought I saw humps and bumps on the pot. I got ready to get excited. Nope, it was a shadow. Anyway, the small pot, that 2-gallon pot that I just showed you, I'm not expecting to get potatoes in that. We'll probably have to take that one outside in the spring. Now, let's look at the rest of our little seedlings before we get into the GreenStalks. So if you remember, I started the onion seeds extremely early because I have older seeds and I wanted to see what the germination rate was going to look like. As we've talked, onion seeds just don't hold up very well from year to year. And I usually end up buying new seeds every year, every other year or so for onion. And you just saw they're not great. So I used Alyssa Craig, Elsa, not Alyssa, Elsa Craig seeds that were from 2 years ago, and not one germinated, not one whatsoever. Same thing with the yellow of Parm. Those seeds were 2 years old. I got nothing. Everything else gave me something, but not the amount that I want. So we'll be doing another video on that really soon and getting some more seeds planted. And we will go ahead and order some new seeds, some new onion seeds so we can make sure we have a good onion harvest. Moving right next to it. Now, y'all, this is the GreenStalk seed starting kit. I had the black one on the table, and now we have the blueberry right here under some shop lights. And this is doing really, really well. Everything germinated except for, I believe, what was it that didn't germinate? One tomato plant, one pocket of tomato plants back there didn't germinate. All of these young seedlings are from my seed bundle that I am doing with GreenStalk. We have collards in the back that we are going to transplant into a container here in the next couple of days. We have our lettuce right here. It's ready to be transplanted. I also have basil. We can get that in somewhere. And this right here, y'all, this is a squash plant. It is too early for me to be growing squash in zone 6B, but I just wanted to plant some so I can just show everybody how pretty the plants are. They have true leaves and everything. I could put this outside right now if it wasn't 10 degrees outside right now. We will we will transplant those tomato plants back there, as well as behind the tomato plants here, back there, y'all. Those are cucumbers, and we're going to transplant all of those, the collards, the lettuce, the basil, in the next few days. And when I say transplant, y'all, I mean put it in its final home, in a GreenStalk, but we're talking indoors versus outdoors for now. Okay, y'all, I also tried to start some microgreens, and I obviously don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying. I just moved them into the grow tent. That's why they're all leaning one way versus the other way. They're all leaning that way because they were chasing the light while I was gone. These are mustard greens right here. Beside the mustard green, I have the kale. I didn't have a whole bunch of seeds, but you know, hey, it's doing okay, I guess. And then this one up here, I had some broccoli seeds, and I guess they're doing okay too. Again, I just moved them, so they're trying to chase the light. They don't know which way to go. We'll harvest those soon, and we'll see how we did. Now, the one right beside it right here, this was the vat collard greens. The seeds were super old. They never germinated, y'all, at all. They never germinated. And I know it looks super wet. That's just because I splashed the water when I moved it. It wasn't too wet. It wasn't too dry. They just didn't germinate. That's okay. We'll pull it out and put something else in. So that's my attempt at microgreens. And there's some mold looking, furry looking stuff on that one. We'll have to take a look at that in more detail. But I'm trying. Doesn't hurt to try something new. So moving over to this GreenStalk right here, this has my overwinter peppers in it. And y'all, I will be harvesting peppers this week. I have to. I got one up there. I got one down there. That's a nice sized peppers right here. Now, this plant was infested. We are treating it. Just in all honesty, y'all, we just want it to stay alive so we can get outside with these overwinter pepper plants. There's another one down there. The collard greens didn't do so well. That one's trying to come back, but most of the collard greens died. And y'all, guess what? My mom said while I was gone, she was down here watering and taking care of the indoor grow space. A green pepper fell off, and guess who got it? Yeah, you know, Buttons got it. So now Buttons like peppers and cucumbers and lettuce and sweet potatoes. That is definitely going to be my farm dog. All right, I got one more thing I'm going to show you in this GreenStalk, and then we'll move over to the lemon. Y'all, look at that. Look at those orange hats. They're in there. So when we harvest tomatoes, we will be harvesting, I don't know, like 3, maybe 4 tomatoes. Maybe 4 tomatoes, but there are a lot of little tomatoes on here. Lots of blooms. It's very happy. And then I had a different variety over to the side here, and it's starting to come back. It's got blooms on it as well. So maybe we'll get this variety in addition to the orange hat that never disappoints. Now you can really see the peppers from here. Anyway, let's move over to the lemon GreenStalk. Now we only have 3 tiers on the lemon GreenStalk. In the bottom, I have lettuce. This is the original lettuce. We have been harvesting it and giving a lot of it to Buttons. But we will be replacing some of these pockets here with the lettuce that we have right there in the next few days, because most of it has gone to seed. And so that's the lettuce. There's a little bit left down here for us to enjoy, but most of it is ready to come out. In the next level up, these are all beans. I have 3 pockets of yellow wax beans and 3 pockets of strike beans. The strike beans are vining, y'all. They're vining. Everywhere where you see a vine like that, that's the strike green beans. I didn't know that they were going to vine. We are where we are. I put the strike beans after I put in the yellow wax beans, and y'all look, I got beans. There are beans on these plants, at least on the yellow wax beans. Let's see if I can get over here where you can see some of them. Well, let's go ahead and go to this top level because my cucumbers have taken over. I have cucumbers. Yep, I said it. Cucumbers. These are cucumbers, y'all. growing indoors. And this is not those little baby ones, y'all. These are munchers from my seed bundle with GreenStalk. And we are growing cucumbers indoors. But I wanted to show you some good pictures of those yellow wax beans. There's some more yellow. This might be the same one I just showed you. Here we go. Here we go. Look at that, y'all. Now, it hasn't turned yellow yet because it's still very small, but these are yellow wax beans in here. Going back up to the top, I got some bunching onions right here and a few, very few, they might get completely shaded out, but a few carrots are in here as well. Now this is, y'all, I told you wrong. This is not a cucumber from my seed bundle. This is called Firm Secret. I got ahead of myself. This cucumber is called Firm Secret. I got it online from Amazon. Online from Amazon. I have 2 plants. Yeah, it's just 2 plants growing in this one pocket. And I just pulled it around to the side and I have it going that way. And there is probably 10 cucumbers or more on this one vine. And these are self-pollinating cucumbers. Don't need a pollinator. And they're covering up some of the other carrots. So just remember, I told you wrong. It's called Firm Secret. I am super, super excited for this GreenStalk. We're doing some things in here we've never done before, playing around, learning some new things. And it's going to help us as we're thinking about next year for our indoor grow space. But y'all, look at them beans. Beans and beans are in there. Now, I've been gone for a week and I didn't water before I didn't fertilize before I left. So it's been 2 solid weeks since I fertilized. We will do a video in the next day or so on watering and fertilizing. I hear some people are struggling on how to water their GreenStalk. They're either getting too much water or not enough water. So let's just go ahead and talk about it. I should have filmed this morning, but I didn't. When I came back, I did have a little bit of drying on some of my cucumbers. So I watered the actual pockets of the top, just the top. I watered the actual pockets, and then I watered into the GreenStalk, but I never let it go down the hole. I just put enough water in up to the hole, and then I stop. And I let that work its way through. And then I come back and I do it again, and I let it work its way through. And I do that until I see, it's going to be hard on this one. Let's look on this one. Until I see dripping in between layers. So you can look in between layers, like this one right here, and you will be able to see dripping. And I do that until I see dripping between layers, with the exception of dripping to the bottom layer. That's the only one I don't wait for. And that's what I did this morning when I came in here. I watered, I couldn't get dripping, so I kept going and I kept going until I got dripping all the way down to onto the top of the 3rd layer. And then now it's fully watered. If I put my hand in that pocket, it's nice and moist. It's watered in, and I didn't end up with way too much water down in that tray down there. Now, if I had watered too much, I would slide that tray out and slide an empty one in to catch any additional water that's coming out, because I don't want the bottom of my grow tent to get all messed up. And then that water that you see in there, y'all, I'll put it down there. I'll put it down in the bottom of this and let that pot soak it up. So I'm trying not to be wasteful, but you'll get to see that in a little more detail in the next few weeks, days or so. I'm way behind on editing, y'all. I got a ton of videos I need to get edited and get to you. It's coming up though in the next week or so. All right, let's go look at the hydroponic systems and put this video to bed. So here are my 2 hydroponic systems that I have going. My lettuce system, and then over here is my tomato and cucumber system. So I did plant lettuce right before I left, and very few of the pockets germinated. I'm going to have to check in on this one to see what's going on. Got a little germination in the back here. This one pocket germinated. This lettuce you see all the way in the back, y'all, that's the second round. So of my cut and come again, that's second round back there. And it has some great color to it. But most of these didn't germinate. So we'll have to put new seeds in and see what's going on with those. Moving over to this one. Y'all look at that cucumber just waiting on me. It's just sitting up there saying, please harvest me. But my cucumbers, I have some down there as well. Again, self-pollinating cucumbers down here. There's one, there's one up there a little higher up. Lots of blooms in here as well. And I have them running up the back and up this picture here. So I'm using the picture to trellis my cucumbers, and that's quite all right. Look at all of those cucumbers coming up that. It's looking good. We will get those harvested this week. The tomatoes over here are doing well. There are lots of blooms in there, and there are lots of tomatoes in there as well. Now, someone asked me, well, what do you do if your tomatoes touch the top of your system? Well, for me, my system wasn't all the way up. I just finished pushing my system. I think it's all the way up now. I still have just a little bit of space over this one. And honestly, I don't know if I'm going to need to do anything different since these are micro dwarf tomatoes. They stay less than 2 feet tall, and I believe my light goes up 2 feet. But if it really starts causing me issues, you can clip the top out and promote more side shoots. So that is an option. All depends on what variety you chose to grow, how happy they are, right? And happiness is not always fertilizer. It's temperature, it's fertilizer, it's a little bit of everything. If it gets too big or too tall, you can clip the tops out to promote side growth, or you can kind of just lean it to the side and let it keep going like I do with my cucumbers. That cucumber fell down that was resting up there. It says, please harvest, please, please. So anyway, that's my Letpot growing systems. We will get this one started back up. I just didn't really have time to pay a lot of attention, but we'll figure out what's going on with these that just started germinating or that chose not to germinate at all. So that's it for the indoor update. I got some work to do now that I'm back at home. We got to keep this thing going and start preparing for that outdoor garden with planting more seeds, starting with those onion seeds, y'all. So until next time, and I hope there'll be a next time that you choose to hang out with me at Kim's Cozy Corner. Bye.